let's talk about the hands and wrists. If you find it difficult, if you feel too much stretch when you're in this position, you can take a towel and kind of roll this towel to the thickness that you're going to need in order to make this angle more than 90 degrees. So you're kind of going to rest your palms like that so that you do not overstretch your wrist to start with. And this is going to make it easier on your arms and your hands as well. The other thing that you want to think about when you do exercises on your hands and knees is to actually use your hand as a foot, which it is, you know, it's the foot that is associated with your upper limbs. So you want to spread your hand and have it uniformly press into the ground as if you want to leave an imprint. So any exercises on your hands and knees, you should try to spread your fingers, spread the thumb, and really press uniformly with the hand into the floor. What happens most of the time is because we essentially do this, you know, sort of type or hold a phone or hold a steering wheel. The hands are kind of cupping, so this is our habitual tension of the hands. So you want to kind of, you know, try to release that. And if you don't pay attention, as you're doing this, your hands are going to start doing this. So they're going to start cupping, and you will continue to press your hands onto the floor. Okay, something else you want to pay attention is the rotation of the upper arm. Again, our habitual posture, position, adaptation is internal rotation, which is associated with the slouching. And so we don't want to do that. There is a couple of ways to measure and to see if your arms are in internal rotation. So one of them is the position of your elbow pit. So when you go onto your hands and knees with your hands spread on the floor and uniformly pressing, if you bend your elbows, you want your elbows to bend straight back. If you bend your elbows and they go to the side, kind of like a bulldog, that means that this bone is internally rotated. So you want to get out of this internal rotation. As everything else, you shouldn't be forcing it. So if you are very internally rotated, don't try to go all the way. Ideally, this should be facing straight forward. The elbow pit should be facing straight forward. But if it can't, it's okay. You can either leave the amount of internal rotation that makes this position bearable, or the other thing you can do is you can just, instead of having your hand, so your middle finger facing straight forward, you can slightly turn your hands out, and then this is going to make the neutral elbow pit easier. So either of these works. Just make sure that as you progress, you try to straighten your hands and align your elbow pits in neutral. And one more remark in this situation is that something else you want to have a play with is the bend at the elbows here. So oftentimes when you straighten your arms here, you're going to see this kind of hyperextension. So this is not ideal, and this puts a lot of load onto the elbow. So you want to slightly bend the elbow so that your straight arm is actually straight and not hyperextended. And this is not an easy thing to do, so that's again something that you can explore in your own time is to just, so legs vertical, pelvis in neutral, ribs in neutral, hands spread, elbow pits forward. And then if you have a tendency to hyperextend like that, you will need to actually slightly bend. It feels like a bend. It feels like you're bending slightly the elbows, and kind of use your muscles to support you in this position so that you can start to develop strength and skills in order to be able to build on this later on with the rhomboid push-ups and planks and other exercises that use the arms.